My last video on risk to reward already changed how so many of you trade, but there's one thing we need to clarify, and that is that this risk management strategy has to be adapted to the crypto market. Many people simply use one risk management strategy for different assets, and crypto just doesn't forgive that mistake. While stocks can move 5% in a day, we see it very often that crypto can move 20, 30, 40, or even 50% in one single day. So today I'm going to show you how risk to reward must be applied specifically in crypto, so you can survive the volatility and position yourself for these explosive markets. If you're serious about structured trading, make sure you subscribe because everything on this channel builds on disciplined execution. Let's start with reality. Crypto trades 24/7. No session close, no reset, and 10% moves, 20% moves are normal in the crypto market. On futures, however, we have a market close. That means we can reset after every single session. In crypto, that's not the case. This would also mean that in crypto, it's more likely for us to keep a position overnight. Whenever we keep a position open overnight, we need to have a very good risk management to not get stopped out overnight and potentially even lose more than we can afford and blow up an entire trading account. On crypto, sometimes we see flash crashes. We have seen that in October 2025. And that environment magnifies both opportunities but also big mistakes. And that's why in crypto, risk management is survival. One oversized trade can erase months of discipline. In this video, I'm going to go into the exact calculation of how to measure your risk, a step-by-step process of what you want to look at in terms of risk to reward and risk management, but also I'm going to explain you exactly using one formula how big your position size should be for each and every trade. In crypto, 1 to 3 risk to reward setups are common. 1 to 5 risk to reward setups happens regularly in the trending markets. Sometimes we can even capitalize on moves that achieve a 1 to 8 or even 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio in crypto. And that changes the math completely. That means in crypto, I'm mainly looking for swing trades, but I can't apply the same risk management or the same risk to reward strategy that I use on the futures market, where I would look for scalp trading some smaller moves. Now let's break down how to apply this properly, and this is where most traders get it wrong. So the first thing we have to do as step number 1 is define your invalidation first. Before every entry you take, ask yourself, where is this trade objectively wrong? And I want to have a look at one example here, which is Link. I have given this setup on Link, and one of this setup is the easiest setups that we have, which would be a swing failure pattern. If you're interested in learning more about swing failure patterns, we have an entire course about that on the website. But a swing failure pattern is characterized by a move into a previous low or a previous high. We've taken the liquidity and then simply closed above that level. This gives us a very easy invalidation. This means before I enter the trade, I know exactly where my trading idea is going to be wrong, and that will be below the low that created this swing failure pattern. Okay, this is an easy invalidation. I know this before I enter my trade, that this is where I'm going to be wrong. Then we can look at a different setup. An example here is Virtual, which I've given recently, and that was a market structure based entry. Okay, so here I typically don't like to use the overall low as my invalidation. This comes down to personal preference, but here my idea was the following. I have seen that Virtual has changed, or at least attempted to change, the market structure. We've put in our local low. Following that, we have taken some previous highs, so price was forming a higher high. And with my long trade setup right here, I was aiming for another higher low to then take the next high. So this higher high, which is then a confirmed market structure. And this allows me to use a stop loss based off market structure. This means as opposed to using that as my stop loss, which would have been a 23% stop loss, I was simply using a more local invalidation, which was the previous higher low. Now, why did I do that? Because my idea for this trade was to go with market structure, which I consider to be at least attempted to be broken. And that for me allows me to use that as my stop loss because I don't see a reason for price to go below this low again. Okay, so before I even think about my position size or my take profits, I know exactly where my trading idea is going to be wrong and where I want to be out of this trade. Now we can compare that to what most traders do. They enter first, then they think about where to put the stop. And there's one very big mistake by doing that, which you will learn when I give you the exact formula on how to calculate your position size. But most people will enter with probably the same position size they always do, and then think, where am I actually wrong on that trade? Not realizing that this could lead to bigger losses than their trading account can actually afford. This can then trigger emotions. This can trigger revenge trading, because once you have taken a bigger loss, emotions can kick in and people try to revenge trade to make back their losses, not realizing how detrimental that is for their trading accounts. You can easily wipe out an entire trading account by falling into the trap of revenge trading, FOMO trading, or just over leveraging yourself by using too big of a position size. Professionals define the invalidations first, always. If you can't explain structurally why a stop loss is placed at a level, you shouldn't be in the trade in the first place. It's as simple as that. And I'm curious to know, do you define your stop losses before entry or after you're already in a position? Let me know in the comments down below. Now we can go to step number 2, which is define logical targets. Okay, targets are not, I hope it goes higher. Targets are predefined liquidity objectives or levels that make sense in terms of your trading idea. What do I mean by that? So when I'm aiming for a market structure based trade, the only first target that would make sense is a new high. Why is that? Because the idea of my trade was that market structure is going to be confirmed and broken to the upside with a low, higher high, higher low, and I was aiming for another higher high. But that means my first target has to be the previous high. So this is where I can then take partial profits with ultimately aiming for a bigger target and a better risk to reward. The way I like to approach this is take partial profits. Whenever I am in a trade and I see my take profit 1 is being approached, that means I can reduce my position size, but I don't have to close that entire trade. So when we think about me being in a full position size, I can take partial profits such as 25% at my first take profit. Then I can take another 25% at my next take profit and then even let the rest run, which allows me to capitalize on a very big risk to reward ratio for the trades that run, because we've seen that many times in the crypto markets. Sometimes when we get into that one good trade, this can run for weeks, months, or even years into the future, achieving a crazy good risk to reward. Now, this was the market structure based approach. Sometimes we don't have a trade that is simply based off market structure, and a good example would be this trade that I already covered, the single print approach. What I like to do for these trades is identify the next logical resistance and use that as my first take profit 1. One thing I always do is look at naked price action and a previous demand zone like this. Once again, if you're interested in demand zones, I do have an entire lesson on how to spot and how to understand supply and demand zones. But this would be a very logical next resistance level where I definitely need to lock in at least a take profit 1. Again, that doesn't mean I have to close my entire position, but based off the setup, based off the probabilities, I can choose between a 25% take profit 1 up to sometimes even a 50% take profit 1 for this initial trade and then let the rest run. Now we are coming to step number 3, which is position sizing. Here I want to give you an exact formula on how to calculate your position size going forward. Here we can spot the mistake of most traders very easily, because without knowing our invalidation, it's technically not even possible to calculate our position size. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to assume we are trading a $10,000 account. Okay, so we start with $10,000. And for me, I like to keep my risk small, so I like to only risk 1% of my trading portfolio. So in terms of risk, this would be per trade, I would risk about $100. Now, in order for me to identify my correct position size, I need to know my stop loss invalidation. So for the sake of this example, we have a stop loss of 12%. So let me write this down here. We have a $10,000 account, $100 risk is what we want to take, and we have a 12% invalidation. In order for us to find out the correct position size, we have to go with 100, which is our risk, $100, divide that by 0.12, which is 12%, right? And we will come up with a position size of about $388, okay? So this is the position size we are allowed to take down here with this as our invalidation and an account of $10,000. In order for us to make this a round number, because I always like to use rounded numbers, I would say down here I will enter $800. So this is my position size. My risk, if I'm being stopped out, is going to be minus $100. This is my predefined risk I'm willing to take on every single trade. And as always, I'm aiming for at least a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. That means if my trade wins, I am making at least $300 in profits, which allows me to have a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, all within my risk management. Now, why are we even so picky on finding the right position size and never risking more than $100 or 1% of our portfolio? It is simply because we have to make sure that we can survive the next trade. We are not in this game to take one good trade and aim for financial freedom. We are in this game to make consistent returns over time. So that means we want to take small risk for each and every trade in order for us to protect capital and survive the next trade. Because all we do is trade based off probabilities. There's no guarantees. So even if we have the best setup in the world, there's no guarantees for us that the next trade is going to win. And thus, we need to be very strategic about our risk management, especially in the crypto market, where we see massive volatility spikes out of nowhere. Another very, very important thing in crypto is leverage. Okay, so leverage does not increase risk if it is applied properly. Position size increases risk. You can use 10x leverage and still only risk 1% if used correctly. Now let's have a look at this. As a general rule, I would say if you're just starting out, don't even think about leverage. Okay, leverage is for more experienced traders and it is not to increase your account balance or your portfolio size or your position size. The only reason for us to use leverage is to use our capital more effectively. So when we think about we want to take 15 trades in our $10,000 accounts, but all of them would have around $800 position size, that is not possible. This means we would have to use more margin than we actually have in our trading account. So in order for us to use that capital more effectively, we could go ahead and say, we use a 10x leverage to build ourselves up to an $800 position size, but actively that would only use $80 margin from our account. Now, I don't recommend to use or to take 16 trades at the same time. That was just an example for you to understand how you use leverage, but it is never going to be to increase your portfolio account balance or to use a crazy big position size. This is just for margin efficiency and how to use your capital that is in your trading account in the most efficient way. When it comes to crypto, you don't need to win most of your trades. You need to control your losses and extend your winners. And here it is very important to check the previous video I've done on risk to reward, where you have seen that even with a 40% win rate, as long as you have the good or a good risk to reward ratio, you can still end up being a profitable trader. It's not just about the win rate in trading. The biggest leverage we have is the risk to reward per trade. As a general rule though, once again, the most recommended thing here to do is to only go with 1x leverage and do not use leverage unless you achieve profitability in trading and you have proven that on a 1x leverage, which means no leverage at all. So this gives you a full explanation on how to define your invalidation, how to then find the next best target, and the most important thing, how to calculate your position size. And that's exactly the type of structured execution we go deeper into inside the Chart Champions community, where we break down the real trade management. This is also why you can see us trade live in front of you, so you can see how we manage these trades live in the time. When are we managing the stop loss? How are we defining the targets? When are we using small position sizes just to be more protected? When are we increasing the position size? So if you're interested in that, you know exactly where to find it, because understanding risk to reward conceptually is one thing, executing it consistently under pressure is another. And if this video gave you clarity, make sure you've subscribed, because we are going deeper into advanced execution and market structure next. And if you're serious about building long-term consistency, the Chart Champions community gives you the complete structured framework. You don't need to predict every move, you need to protect capital long enough to catch the big one. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think, and goodbye.